Hello, my friends. I am continuing my best of series here on my channel, and today we are going to be talking about the 5 best candles from Homeworx in 2023. Now, if you caught my Bath & Body Works video, which I posted yesterday, I was talking about my top 5 favorite fragrances from them. And I've always talked about how I think a lot of candle brands, they have their hits, they have their misses. Some fragrances I absolutely love, but then the performance is kind of wonky. It has been no secret that Homeworx has had its ride on the roller coaster, I would say, over the past few years. I feel like they are on an upward trajectory. This year, I will say that I experienced, especially in the latter half of the year, my Homeworx candles seem to be performing better for me than they were earlier in the year. And so I hope that is a good sign of things to come, I would say. But this was a fun year for me because I did gain Homeworx ambassadorship this year, which I know, some people have mixed feelings about that, but I will tell you that as somebody who still has a fairly young YouTube channel, to have a brand acknowledge some of the work that I've been putting in terms of, I don't want to say like work, but just to acknowledge this fun hobby that I have and say like, hey, we like hearing from you, we like hearing your opinion about these things, really meant a lot to me. Now, just to make this perfectly clear, this video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. There is no PR in this video. This is just me sharing my honest thoughts, especially if you've been with me for a while. You guys know that I share with you honest thoughts regardless of whether or not I receive PR or whether or not I have an affiliation with a brand. I'm always going to be honest with you because my goal here in this candle community is to ultimately help you make wise purchasing decisions when it comes to candles, because this is a frivolous and fun thing, but in our economy that we have, I don't know, we don't just always have money flying around. At least I don't. So I've always appreciated other content creators sharing with me their thoughts, and so that's what I am here to do. So enough rambling, let's go ahead and share the top 5 Homeworx candles from this year. Now, if you didn't catch my other video, the guidelines that I kind of had for myself in this were that these had to be new to me fragrances. So these are not like my top 5 all-time Homeworx fragrances. These are just 5 fragrances that were new to me in 2023. These were the ones that if I see them again, I will repurchase. In fact, some of them I have already repurchased. I want to say that it may not necessarily be based off of their performance because, like I said, we know Homeworx has been up and down, but it's just mainly based off of the fragrances that I liked. So these are not in any particular order. Let's go ahead and start out with a fragrance that I had earlier this year, and it actually really surprised me that I enjoyed it as much as I did, was Blueberry Lavender Cupcake. Now, I do not have this candle in my collection again. I don't know, you guys, I haven't been on social media. I've been taking a break from Instagram and Facebook, but I do believe that at one point I saw people said that Blueberry Lavender Cupcake was starting to show up in some of the Marshalls and TJ Maxx and Home Goods stores. I hope that candle makes a return because I had it earlier this year. I want to say back in January, and I really, really liked that fragrance. In fact, I think I have a dedicated candle review for that. If I do have a dedicated candle review, I will make sure that I have it linked in the description box down below. And in fact, I think I'll put my candle review playlist at the very end of this video so you can go back and look for it on there. But that fragrance to me, it caught me off guard because I don't typically like lavender fragrances. But that scent to me was very, I remember describing it as a posh New York City penthouse, maybe in the spring. It smelled clean, but it wasn't like fresh cotton type of clean. There was a lavender note to it, not a heavy gourmand, but it was a mixture of that. It's not like lavender marshmallow from Bath & Body Works. There was just something about it that just smelled very sophisticated, as my friend Melanie would put it, like fancy lady bathroom type of fragrance. But I really, really enjoyed it, and it is a candle that I could see myself picking up again. Now, because I don't have the candle in front of me, I don't have the fragrance notes listed for you. I will try to look for them somewhere here on the internet, and if I can find them, I will post that for you. But really nice fragrance, and I hope it makes a return. Another candle that is not new to the Homeworx lineup, but it was the first year that I tried it, was Farmstand Blueberry. So again, here we go with more blueberry type of fragrances. Whoo, Ooh, that was such a good candle. Oh my word. It was like an authentic, I don't even want to say authentic because I don't think blueberries in and of themselves, like when I bring them up to my nose, they don't really have a scent to it. But I will say that the Farmstand Blueberry did not smell artificial to me. You guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes when you get a blueberry candle, it can smell almost like candied and too artificial. This was just a perfect summertime candle. It was very much a fresh blueberry type of scent. There was a little bit of sweetness to it, but it wasn't like a cloying sweetness. I just absolutely loved that fragrance. It is one that I could see myself purchasing again for this summer if it comes back, because I really, really liked that fragrance. All right. In the fall and winter, let's be honest, those tend to be like some of my favorite fragrances. I like fragrances for every season, but I will tell you that I do kind of have a bias towards maybe some cozier fragrances. And a candle that I loved this year, now I will be really honest, I wish that it would have had better performance for me, and so I hope it makes a comeback next year stronger and better. But it was Palo Santo Pumpkin. I talked about in my Bath & Body Works candle that this was the year that I burned some Palo Santo fragrances, and I don't necessarily like Palo Santo. Sorry, you guys, I got a little itch back here. I don't necessarily like Palo Santo, like the Palo Santo and Sage from Bath & Body Works. I don't want it to smell too medicinal or hippie-ish, but when it is blended with like a vanilla or a gourmand type of fragrance, I find it really, really enjoyable, because I feel like any kind of like gourmand tones down the earthiness of Palo Santo. I don't know if I'm making any sense there, but that fragrance was lovely because there was the earthiness, and I don't even want to describe it as smoky, but there was like a slight, I guess you could describe it as like a hearth smoky type of fragrance without it being smoky. It was just very earthy. But the pumpkin came out in that as well, some vanilla. It was an absolutely lovely fragrance. And in fact, I was a little bit upset because I only had one of them. I thought about purchasing more, but because I was having some issues with the wicks getting kind of puny, and therefore the strength and throw wasn't very strong for me, I was like, no, I'm not gonna buy another one. And then I waffled, then I was like, well, no, I do want another. And then I couldn't find it anywhere. So it just wasn't meant to be for me to stock up on this year, but I do hope that it makes a return next year, because that was one of my favorite fragrances. Another candle that I absolutely loved was Sweater Weather. Now, that is not the same fragrance as Bath & Body Works Sweater Weather. Sweater Weather for Homeworx was a perfect fragrance to burn in November because it reminded me a bit of Christmas. There is some pine tree element to it, but it wasn't necessarily like I smelled it and I instantly thought like, oh, this belongs to be burned strictly in the month of December. It was a nice warming me up for Christmas, transitioning me out of all of the pumpkin and apple and fragrances from fall. It was absolutely lovely. It gave my home a very cozy, warm vibe. I think Sweater Weather is a very appropriate name for it. I don't know if it's still currently available on the Slatkin & Co. website. You might be able to find it on clearance, maybe at your local discount retailers. I'd be sniffing around there if you can. But that was an absolutely beautiful fragrance, and I absolutely loved it. All right, another candle that I tried earlier this year, in fact, it was back in January that I tried this fragrance, and then I just bought 3 more of them because I loved the candle so much. And I am going to warn you, this candle is probably not for everybody, but totally for your girl here. So the candle that made my list here was Black Tie. Now this is marketed as a New Year's candle. This is a boozy, heavy fragrance. There is some note of Palo Santo. There is, I want to say, there's a boozy note in there. It's not necessarily rum. It's kind of like a bourbon, not whiskey. I would call it more of like an aged bourbon type of note in there. I describe that candle, if you've ever watched the show or like think of like the Mad Men aesthetic, it gives me that very like mid-century modern type of vibe when I smell it. I absolutely love it. You get some of that vanilla note in there. I think it's very, very similar. If you ever tried Lofco's, what was it? white maple bourbon. Smells very, very similar to my nose, but I tried that in January and I was like, oh, do I love this fragrance. Now, it's not a fragrance that I light up first thing in the morning. I mean, if that's your thing, then go for it. But that's a candle that I really love burning at nighttime. It's a very sexy and sophisticated fragrance. And I am so happy that I have it back in my collection. Now, I will tell you that it's probably not one that I would burn multiple of the same candle at the same time, because I think that it would probably get a little too heavy. It might be one that you might want to burn with maybe like a lighter tree fragrance, or maybe I'm thinking like a gourmand, like a basic vanilla. You might want to tone it down a little bit, but I really, really love that fragrance. And I am just going to say that I am going to give an honorable mention here. And the reason that I don't actually have it in my top 5 is because I have not yet burned this candle. I've only smelled it on cold, but I love it enough on cold that I have 3 of them in my collection, and that would be Cozy Weekend. It has an almond note to it, which you guys know, I love almond notes and things. I plan to burn it alongside the pistachio and toasted vanilla from Bath & Body Works, but that is another candle that I did want to give an honorable mention to because I really, really like that fragrance. So that is it for my top 5/6 candles from the brand Homeworx this year. They're now under the umbrella now of Slatkin & Co., but the candles that I am talking about specifically under that umbrella are Homeworx candles. In full transparency, I am a Homeworx ambassador. This video is not sponsored. Clearly, there's no PR, nothing like that in here, but I always like to be upfront and honest with you guys to let you know that I am a Homeworx ambassador. I do have a discount code with them that saves you 15% off of your orders over $40. The code is Katie's Joyful Life. I know that that is a long thing to type out there, but if any of these candles are currently in stock over on the Slatkin & Co. website, I will make sure that I have them listed down below, and you are welcome to use that affiliate code if you are comfortable doing so. If not, that's totally fine. You're still welcome here. If you found this video helpful, please hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comment box down below what were your favorite fragrances that you tried from Homeworx this year. I would be curious to know. So I want to say thank you so very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next video, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.